Well, we're obviously long stretches between games. It's not ideal, but it's just the way the schedule kind of came out. We're fixing to play 4 games in 8 days. So I think if you ask our players, they'll be excited to play on Saturday and then Tuesday, Friday, Sunday, Wednesday. So this was a big week for us. We've got to get better. I think we've got, I think we've got a long way to go. I was glad to play Samford. I thought they presented a different problem for you than typically most openers. Well coached, did some things that, I think showed our kids in film that we got some things to work on. Obviously, we missed a bunch of shots after making a bunch of shots. And so shooting's been a focus for our kids this week. Finishing layups, driving to the basket, those kinds of things. And then rebounding has been a constant concern for me. So it's been a good week. We've had a couple of long practices. Today will be a little bit shorter. And we'll get ready to play Grambling on Saturday at 1. I think the paper had it, they were playing Samford again, but no, we don't have a doubleheader. We've got Grambling on Saturday. Coming off a trip, lost to William and Mary, and then went and played a really good GW team and got beat there, but was in both games, played both teams very well. They've got a 3-4 player that's, averaging 22 points a game, I think, or had 22, and really athletic senior. Anytime you have to go against a senior that's leading a team in scoring, that's always concerning. So, well coached, and again, I'm glad to be playing somebody on Saturday instead of practicing.
What would you like your shooting percentage to be? Because I forget, it was in the 30s against.
I like our 4s and 5s. I like our 5s to be in the 60s. I think your 4s, because they have a mixture of, I think they need to be close to 50, and then I think your 2s, I like Dom and Tori and Kayla and Blair, Morgan and Jazz to be in that 44% range, and anything over 33 from 3, for any position. So think about it, y'all. If we don't get those layups off our press in transition, we don't shoot 30-something%. We shot 32%, I think, for the game, and if we don't get that, we're shooting in the 20s. So, some of it's bad shot selection, some of it's balls just didn't go in, some of it's from kids, I think, pressing, trying to do too much, and so I'm not real concerned about a couple of those kids because I think it was just it ain't gonna happen very often.
Would you like freshmen to come along slowly, or do you like to try to get them in as much as possible, or how do you ease the freshmen in the first year?
Well, with Jazz and T, they're getting thrown in pretty quick, and there's no really other way to do it. I've said this now a couple times. Last year we were bringing, 2 seniors off the bench. We started 2 seniors, but then when Morgan had to come out, you were replacing her with a senior. So you really had 3 seniors coming off the bench last year, and all of them had started in their career. Right now we're bringing a freshman at point off the bench who's never started. We're bringing 3 sophomores, Caleb, Blair, and LaCaris, off the bench who've never started and really never played, some significant, meaningful minutes at any length of time. They've played meaningful minutes, but not many. So that's what we've replaced 4 seniors on the way out the door with. So those kids, they got to grow up in a hurry, to answer your question. And, I think that kind of gets lost in the whole shuffle of things is the youth of this team. I mean, we're really a young basketball team, inexperienced. And with that comes some immaturity in the way to handle certain things sometimes. And again, great kids, but it's almost like we've got to toughen up a little bit in some areas, but we're not tough because of our inexperience in our youth.
I know you were wanting a little bit more from your bigs the other day. Have you seen improvement from them this week?
It's coming. It's a slow process. I think T's just learning what she can and can't do. Kids want to play, so they don't want to get in foul trouble. She's been in foul trouble the first 2 ball games, so then this last game, I thought she was a little passive. Now, I also think that we ran a lot of stuff that didn't involve her in the low post. That's my fault. So we've got to engage with her and get her involved a little bit more, I think, in low post. But she, again, has to realize her, in especially Chinway, you can't let 6 foot stick a knee in your rear and move you. You got to be able to move her. And so I think those kids are, Chinway's really come on. I think she's really made some big improvements. She did a great job defensively, I thought. She's out denying, she's hedging. So, she's coming. And again, another kid that's really not played the game very many years. So, but we need those kids. We need to have an inside presence. It needs to be more than just an accidental layup every now and then.
What would you say the identity of this team is going to be, or would you hope it to be on offense, given the relative inexperience of the post players, inside out, outside in, combination?
Yeah, I think we're still figuring that out right now, to be honest with you. We need to have a balance, but I think, our guard play should be pretty good. I think offensively, Tori, Dom, and Mo are pretty good players, can break you down, create top players a little bit. I think Blair's a space eater where she's going to create space for everybody else because they're going to have to go over there and respect her. I think Kayla's game is a mid-range game, and so I like our guard play, but I also love our size. So I think that's the challenge with my staff and I right now, is trying to develop all this. But our 5 players are still inexperienced. Chinway's still an inexperienced player. Reese is a senior, and Reese brings a total and complete different, I think, than what Chinway and T bring. And so, at some point I got to start getting a team ready for the season and for conference, and I can't play 14. That's just the way it is. And so it's really a challenging time right now. But we're still, I think, learning our identity and who can we rely on when we need a go-to bucket. I know who wants to take the shot, and that's good. You got to have somebody that wants it, and obviously Tori's that player that has been in that role. I think Morgan wants to be in that role. She's made a big one last year in Oxford, and so I think she likes and relishes that opportunity. So that's a good starting place. You got to have kids like that want to be in that environment and have that opportunity.
How do the different substitution patterns in the makeup of the game now with the quarters, how does that present a challenge in that you could have a stretch where the kids are playing 8 minutes straight in the first quarter? So, you're trying to find a substitution pattern with 14 kids and who's going to play. How does that enter into it? How do you try to put that together?
I don't know if anybody noticed, but our best lineup defensively the other night was that second quarter. It was on the floor. You had Morgan, Blair, Dom, Chinway, and then Katera and Bree a little bit. And that was the team that shut them down, held them to 2 points, worked really hard. And so, hey, when you're a coach, you're sitting around thinking all the time, and I'm thinking back to, Nebraska back in the mid-2000s, they ran 5 in, 5 out. And their second 5, y'all, looked like, you'd look at them and go, who is this group? 5'6", 5'7", unathletic looking kids. And I'm telling you, they were dogs. They just guarded your tail, made life miserable for you. And they just were overachievers and played and did exactly what Coach needed them to do. And I remember they stuck it to us up in Lincoln in that year, our Elite 8 team, I think. But that was their philosophy. They had 5 in, 5 out and did it all year long. And so, I'm watching last night thinking, letting that go through my head. I'm watching those 2 great men's games last night. I watched Oklahoma and North Texas on the women's side the night before, and Rutgers and Seton. So I watch everybody, and I'm thinking, well, I got a kid like that, and she needs to be doing that. Or my kid does that a whole lot better than that kid. So you start thinking as a coach, and you start trying to piece it all together, and the bottom line is I love my 14, 15 that I got. I'm not trading them for anybody, but we got to do some things better. I don't need to play one game against Sanford to realize we may be ranked number 10 right now, But I think we got a long way to go before we can live up to number 10.
Scout on Grambling, how much different are they from Sanford or whatever?
Going to play some zone press, play, I think, zone and man defensively. I thought Sanford would zone us a little bit, didn't need to. But we worked a little bit against the zone press yesterday, and obviously really athletic. Coach is doing a good job with them, and you know, we'll continue to try to do what we do, and play our style. And I think that's the strength, going to what he was talking about. You know, there may be an 8-minute stretch. If somebody has to get a quick timeout, there's going to be an 8-minute stretch. To me, that plays into our favor. You know, we closed practice yesterday in a long practice with a 10-minute scrimmage, no stop, no substitutions, pressing both teams up and down. Now, I'd rather do that than get on the line and run 34s. I think my team had too. But that's how we closed practice, and I was really impressed with the toughness of those 10. You know, they went hard, and that was after a long workout. We'd already been in there 3 hours. So I think that's where we are right now. I like where the conditioning is of most of our kids right now.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Coach.